Hello, everyone! Welcome back to another episode of Voicing Artists' Original Characters. Now, y'all know the drill, so we'll get right up and started. The artist we are working with today is named SuperBlume, pronouns she, they, and the character that we are working with from SuperBlume's name is Zina. Now, I don't have any backstory for Zina, but I do have a few character personality traits, and we did get full permission to take a few liberties here and run with her and develop some as well, so we'll be doing that. So, the character personality traits that SuperBlume gave us for Zina include enthusiastic, loves new experiences, loves hanging out with friends, hates being alone, and not good at handling negative emotions. Now, I think enthusiastic, loving new experiences, loving hanging out with people is very evident in these photos. The color palette alone is very upbeat, it's very positive, it's very mentally stimulating. It is like a pastel version almost of those upbeat colors, so it's not bright neon pink, it's like a little bubblegummy. And it's not, bright neon yellow, it's this soft sort of pastel. So that does tell us that her version of enthusiastic, at least based on the color palette, is going to be more of a positive energy that is maybe soothing, or a word that I'll use as a descriptor later, bubbly, versus one that is chaotic and loud and hyping people up or being the life of the party themselves. We've dealt with a few of those characters before, and they tend to have really bright, vibrant colors. So these colors are the same colors, right? They're the pinks and the yellows and the reds and things like that. But they are the pastel or sublimed versions instead of being so vibrant. It's not quiet, it's more soothing, it's more positivity, radiance. Radiance is a good word. It's like radiating it instead of sparking like fireworks into the air. Alright, so now that we have that idea with the colors, let's talk a bit about these negative traits, because again, we love having negative traits to help develop these characters. So, hates being alone and not good at handling negative emotions. Well, doesn't like being alone makes sense, because in 2 out of the 3 of these drawings, she is with one of her friends. And with the other one, it almost looks as if she's holding a phone for a selfie and sort of saying hello to the world. And it makes sense because when you have this sort of joy and bubbly personality, you often want to take it and share it with people. All you see in the world is a chance to make other people smile and to make other people just as joyous as you are. And why not share that experience with everyone? So it makes sense that she likes being with other people, probably likes seeing them smile and be happy and things like that. The other one with not handling negative emotions well is going to be very good, in quotes, for us, because we're going to play with both angry and sad, which can be seen as negative emotions. So we might take one or both that direction, and then we can deal with how does she handle those emotions poorly. Is it loud and abrasive? Is it tantrum? What is the reaction that she has that makes her so poorly adept at handling these emotions? Whereas happy is going to be lovely to experience because that's her natural state, right? So some of the things that I see about these drawings for Zina's personality, we've already said one of them, and that's bubbly. Bubbly is a word that I love because it's a way of saying joyous and happy and positivity when we can think of things in motion or in a characteristic. That's why adjectives are so helpful in the first place. It can really help embody that spirit in both our own bodies and our voice and ourselves as a character. So bubbly is a word that I personally like because to me, bubbly means that this joy, this positivity that you have is very gently sort of floating in the atmosphere, and they pop little things of joy here or there. But bubbles in general, when you give them to children, right, their first instinct for someone who sees bubbles for the first time is often not to pop them, right? They don't realize that they pop. So when you have a bunch of bubbles and a child or someone comes into this bubble space, their first reaction is, whoa, right? Because they're beautiful. They're perfect circles, the glow that happens on a bubble, the sparkle, the beautiful like watercolors, sometimes rainbows, right? They're gorgeous and they just very gently float in the sky and, float on the wind. And then you're so awed by this that maybe you go up to reach one and boop, it pops. So it's a way of putting that into a form that has a physical reaction for at least myself and the way that I can portray the character. Now, whatever word that is for you, use it. But for me, bubbly is a good one here. I also have optimistic. Of course, with all these smiles on her faces, she probably sees the glass half full, not half empty. I have cheeky. I like cheeky because this little smile in this photo with her friend and the wink gives me just a little bit of like she made a cute little joke, or like she knows her friend isn't gonna smile on camera, but she's taking a picture anyways because it's fun. Little cheeky. I would also say probably affectionate, since she does love her friends, and maybe more physically affectionate than verbally affectionate. I think it's a way of taking the bubbles inside of her and expressing them outwards, because sometimes we have energy that we need to physically put into motion. So I think physically being affectionate would probably be helpful for her. Now, of course, with the not being good at negative emotions, I would assume that she puts on some sort of mask, right? She seems like the type of person where, because she wants to avoid these emotions and not have to deal with any of them in the first place, if you ask her if she's fine, even when she's dying inside, she's gonna be the type of person that goes, of course, right? And she's not even gonna think twice about it. She's gonna change the subject, all that kind of things. And the last word that I have is trendy. Now, I wanna be careful with this word because this word gets a bad rap. We hear the word trendy or popular and we think mean girls. I don't think following the trends is a bad thing, especially when you enjoy them. And I think she enjoys the trends. She likes being like, this is really cute. I'm gonna wear this cute crop top, or I just found this cute way to style my hair from TikTok. I'm gonna follow that tutorial, right? That strikes me as her kind of interest. And again, it's not a bad thing. Every sort of genre has trends, right? You can be entirely goth emo and still follow those trends. You can be cute and kawaii and follow that trend, right? Like, any of this is possible. And I think she's a trendy person, but it's not a negative, just a factor that I've noticed. So, with all of that said, let's get into these emotions. Now, we're going to start with a neutral line here, and I think we're going to make this one very simply with this beautiful image here of her, what looks like taking a selfie in this cute little crop top, and we're going to make it exactly with the idea that I said, where it's like a cute crop top, she did the tutorial off of TikTok, and she's like, look, it worked, and sending the picture maybe to her friends or something like that. So let's give that a shot.
What do we think? I tried this new TikTok tutorial and I think it looks really good. I think this is going to be my new favorite shirt.
Aw, that's cute. It's bubbly, it's positive, it's sharing things with other people. I think that's a good place for Zina to be in for her neutral state. Her very neutral state of there's a smile on her face and there's little sparkles around her, just like the photo has. So then we go into happy, which is going to be relatively similar, but since she likes being with people and trying new experiences and doing things with her friends, I think to make her really, really happy, we go in that route. So we're going to say that her and her friend here are trying something new, probably in this drawing with what look like lights in a parking lot, and maybe they are going to a new store or something like that, or they're waiting in line for an experience, and we're going to try that.
This is going to be so much fun! I can't believe we've really been waiting for this for like 2 whole weeks. That's a long time. Part of me thought we wouldn't get here, but I knew you and me, we could do it, and now we're going to have the best days of our life!
I love that. I love a bit more of the quick talking energy and the big old smile. Like, I did that whole dialogue with a smile on my face and big open wide eyes and just very much protruding this energy of like, oh my God, we're here. I can't wait to experience this thing, but I also can't wait to experience this thing with you. And that's what's important. So I love that for Zina. I think it's really cute. And the artist did an excellent job of giving us photos where we can pull these things from. It can be so difficult sometimes to pull these emotions or these scenarios out of nowhere, right? Without context. But that's why artists are so good at their job when they create characters, because creating all these different environments, just using the different color palettes, making a contrast between her and a character that doesn't smile and maybe is a little more quiet, along with like the dark blue sky, right? It gives us not just a scenario and a scene to play from, but it really embodies what this character is about. And it makes our job so much more easy. And I really, really appreciate that. And I love working with artists who are this passionate and this good at what they do. And thank you to SuperBlume. Like, you're doing an excellent job. And I can't wait to see more of Zina in the future. But for now, we do have to continue, which means I can't stall anymore. And we have to go into the negative emotions. We're gonna make Zina here very sad and very angry, and it's going to be unfortunate because she doesn't like having those emotions, and we don't like having those emotions. So we'll go for angry first, and hopefully we can sort of channel this into her. Now, I'm thinking that maybe her anger is probably going to be a bit sparky. I think we're gonna be close to fire, but maybe it'll be a little different. I don't quite know how to explain the difference that I'm thinking it's going to be, but we will go for the line and see what we come up with, and then maybe I can explain it after having done it. So for this one, I really like this image of her with her hand out, and she's sort of leaning over her shoulder, and her face is kind of in this mix of like, type of energy. This to me feels like complaining, or possibly angry venting. So we're gonna go with this route and make it more of an angry venting. So let's try it.
Look, all I'm saying is that I think she's a bitch. It's not my fault her wig is ugly and her makeup looks like it was done by a toddler. If she wants to look this good, maybe she should try a little harder, instead of ask her daddy for all the money to get social media views. Whatever. She doesn't even understand what hard work is. Rich bitch.
Ooh, that's an interesting angry. It is a little sparky, but I realized while doing it that that's not the word I wanted. And that's why I couldn't quite describe what I was thinking of beforehand, because I was like, there's a word here that I'm missing, right? Because sparky is a bit more kicking things, punching things, and that's not quite what I was going for. This has a little bit of teeth, so you could have said bite, but there's actually a very specific word that I think is her anger. Catty. I think her anger is very catty. It's very malicious, right? It's spiteful. There's a root to her anger that is because I'm not good at processing this emotion, because I'm not thinking logically, because I don't even want this right now and I'm just feeling in it, I'm just living in it, it sort of consumes her. But it doesn't consume her in a way that a lot of characters would, where they need to punch things and they need to scream, they need to yell. To her, it comes as vitriol. It comes almost bubbling up, there's the word, as like a lava pot or boiling water, where it's like the root of the issue might be something significant, but my anger is going to come out in the form where I target your appearance, where I target how you're stupid, where I target how you're ugly, where I target how you're dumb and don't deserve to live, right? It's targeting superficial things. It's targeting things that don't matter, things that are just rude and cruel to point out. There is this lava, right? Boiling poison. It's very clearly coming and sort of spewing out of her mouth, right? And it's targeting all the lowest of the low-hanging fruit and branches. They might have actually made a hurtful comment. They might have actually done something that was rude and unacceptable. But instead of addressing that problem, the response to this overwhelming anger is to go for things that are unfair, right? Like the hair comment and the makeup comment and you don't work hard a day in your life comment. These were probably not the issue. She probably said something awful or did something horrible, but rather than the anger coming out in a form of like, I hate you for doing that thing, you were cruel, she's the one whose anger is cruel. All it can do is bubble up and over the pot and hit everything on the floor. The things that she can't change, the things that she's insecure about, it's gonna just burn her at the bottom and melt her feet, right? And that is how her anger expresses itself. She's not good with dealing with it, and she probably doesn't like when it happens because she turns into the exact person who's against her, right? The exact person who's probably calling her ugly and fat and stupid. She then just sends it right back. And that's not something she wants to do, but that's how her anger embodies itself. And we haven't dealt with that before, where someone takes low blows like that. And often we see those people as villains, or we see it in commentary things on YouTube where people will make fun of an appearance, or they'll make fun of a voice, or they'll make fun of the brands that you're wearing, right? Or whether or not you actually worked or you got daddy's rich money, right? And while these are all commentary, there's a big difference between being bitter and having sort of that angry stick that you just want to jab at any sort of thing you can to get some sort of this anger out, and actually addressing, here are the reasons why I don't like this person. Here are the reasons why what they did is bad, right? You bring in these things that don't matter, that don't mean anything, that shouldn't be in the conversation, but they are. And I like that for her anger because we don't see it a lot, but it's there, it's a thing. And some people really have to process that. And you have to live in it, breathe in your anger, and then go from there, right? And a lot of times if you have this type of anger, you will keep the face on in the moment, and then you go home, you hit up your best friend on the phone, or you sit next to them on the couch, and you rant to them, and you call the other person disgusting, horrible things, and make fun of their appearance and all this jazz in order to vent, in order to relieve that stress. And so I think that's the energy we went with there. And last but not least, let's do sad. Now, sad is going to be interesting here because it is going to be very stark. I think we go the route with sad of how when she's happy, even when she's upset, she puts on this mask and she says, I'm fine. And we were talking at the beginning of how it could be, I'm worthless or a burden, or it could be the mindset of, it's in the past, let's not talk about it, let's just get over it. I shouldn't be worrying about that kind of stuff, which kind of come from the same place. And they're just sort of spoken or voiced in different ways. So I think we're going to take that core and try and go for the route of, it's in the past, I'm a loser, right? For even thinking about it, I should just move on. And let's try and take that energy and roll with it for sad.
I'm fine. I don't know why I'm crying. It's fine. There are a lot of things that, I went through, and I don't like to let them have that strong of a hold on me. So it's very frustrating when I can't seem to move forward. And those things shouldn't bother me anymore, but they do. And I don't know, I feel like I'll never be out of this place where these people have this control over me, over my body, and things that have been done years and years and years ago, and I just wish that it didn't matter.
Ooh, that one hurts. I mean, they all hurt, but that one hurts because that one feels very genuine. And while we are genuine all the time, sometimes it can be a struggle to be going through your sadness while you're smacking yourself in the face. And that kind of feels like what Zina's doing. Is both the attitudes of, I'm worthless, I'm a burden, I don't want to trouble you with my problems, and everything's fine because it's in the past and it shouldn't affect me anymore, come from the same core. They come from the core of what happened to me, what is happening to me, how I feel because of whatever happened is bad. That's the core. And even though they're two different deflecting ways, that core is really tough. And I see it a lot in like social media stuff, which I think goes back to her maybe being more on that side of things, is where people go through trauma or something of some kind and they go one of these routes of trying to process it by putting it behind them or by doing whatever the case may be. And they have to constantly remind themselves it's okay to feel, and it's okay that that still makes you upset, and it's okay that you want to move past it, but you do have to process it. And so that's sort of where I was pulling from that. And I think it's a good place for Zina, and it sort of resembles the current social media style thing as well, I wasn't originally planning to go sort of social media influencer with this, but I really like it with her. And I think it humanizes the influencer side of things as well when we see them as real people and not just some rich kids who can fuck off with their emotions, right? When we take a character like this who's happy and beautiful and we love her, we want her to feel good, and then we experience these emotions with her, then we put on the context of like, oh, she could be someone who's like an influencer or social media person. Then it clicks in our brain and goes, oh, those are real people. And so I think that's a good space. And I really like that Zina here has allowed us to play with humanizing people and categories and industries and just everything in general. So thank you to the artist, SuperBlume, for letting us play with Zina here. It was lovely. Y'all make sure to go follow them in the description. Thank you very much. And we will see you on the next video. Goodbye!